Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on a Tampa rapper who killed a 14-year-old, causing the worst mass shooting in the city's history. October 29th, 2023, it was 2:47 in the morning when Tampa police heard gunfire erupt on 7th Ave in Ybor City. Running to the scene, multiple victims were found up and down the street, with one laid out dead, another critical, and over a dozen more in agony as officers applied tourniquets and pressure while attempting to locate the shooter. That's when a young man approached officers, admitting to shooting his gun. He was identified as 22-year-old Tyrell Phillips, and as he turned himself in, officers removed a 10mm Glock 29 from his waistband, loaded with 11 rounds. Officers would conduct a post-Miranda interview with Tyrell, to which Tyrell said he was on 7th Ave with friends when he saw a female he recognized from middle school. He waved at her, and as he did so, he was approached by approximately 6 black males. He advised they were aggressive, and one of them took a fighting stance towards him as if he was going to attack. That's when another spit at him, but Tyrell didn't know if the spit actually hit him or not, and he couldn't hear what they were saying as the area was so loud. Later in the interview, and only when asked specifically if anyone else had guns, Tyrell described someone making a reaching movement to his waistband, to which he believed he was reaching for a firearm. Tyrell said the group continued to approach him and he was in fear, so he drew his own gun and fired. He stated he didn't fire at anyone specifically, but towards the entire group. Estimating he fired only 2 rounds, he ran from the scene, and as he ran, he could hear more gunfire erupt behind him. By now, law enforcement had an official count. 2 victims have been pronounced dead, while 16 more remain injured, making this the worst mass shooting in Tampa's history. But this wasn't a targeted attack on innocent civilians. This was 2 hoods confronting each other in the middle of Tampa's most well-known tourist attraction and the heart of the city's nightlife. Videos too graphic for YouTube would make their way to social media, showing the chaotic aftermath of what took place. Hearing a 14-year-old's life was ended would leave many wondering how such a policed area like Ybor City could suffer a night like this. But video would also show what led up to the shooting. Officers would observe cell phone footage showing Tyrell wearing a mask in a verbal altercation with the other males. One of them could be seen with a red Bape hoodie, acting in an aggressive manner towards Tyrell. A cell phone would capture the moment the both of them reached for their waist, as Tyrell was able to pull his weapon first and fire. Now the 10mm is the preferred bullet for self-defense against grizzly bears. Traveling faster than a 45 and hitting harder than a 9mm, the 10mm Glock serves as a powerful semi-automatic handgun with the guarantee of blowing through whatever it hits. And that's exactly what it did. Tyrell's first shot would push its way into 14-year-old Elijah Wilson's neck, striking his spinal cord and immediately dropping him to the ground. A witness would comment on Facebook stating the dude in the red jacket literally had his jaw blown off. It was later discovered Elijah was also shot in the leg, which may have been done by Tyrell or whoever else opened fire. But officers would find a total of 3 10mm shell casings by Elijah's body. Tyrell would admit it was him on video firing, and Elijah, who wore the red hoodie, was the one that spit at him. In Elijah's last moments, he could be seen reaching for his waist, and as officers searched his body, it was discovered the 14-year-old was carrying a concealed firearm in a holster. Tyrell met the legal age required to carry a handgun in Florida, which is 21, and because of a new state law, anyone older than 21 may carry without a permit as long as they had no felony convictions. Elijah, on the other hand, was only 14 and was illegally carrying a loaded handgun. Officers would recover both weapons, but wouldn't clarify whose was stolen. But questions would be raised as to why a 14-year-old was out at 2:47 in the morning with a gun in an area primarily serving alcohol. Come to find out, Elijah was more commonly known as Baby E from Cross Fletcher, a hood in North Tampa sprawled across Fletcher Ave. Baby E could be seen in multiple music videos, along with multiple members from the area, as the rappers dissed other hoods and showcased an arsenal of weapons. Photos and videos of Baby E himself would show he liked to flex guns, making it seem less likely that he was an innocent 14-year-old victim, and more likely that he was with the shit or trying to be and died because of it. But that doesn't mean Tyrell was an innocent victim either, as Tyrell is more commonly known as TBY Rel, a rapper from TC. Now TC, or Town and Country, is known as a Chico hood, and while they claim Tampa, Tampa doesn't necessarily claim TC. But that doesn't mean them Chicos haven't been rocking out as shootings and murders in the area keep making their way to the news. Rel can be seen in multiple music videos and pictures displaying guns, and his last post to Instagram, he can be seen wearing the same mask and shirt he wore during the shooting and rapping about his daughter. Another angle of cell phone footage would show Baby E had a group with him who were approaching Rel's group as Rel's group continued to back up while Baby E pushed forward. It's more than likely the two groups got into it on some hood shit, as some can be seen throwing up hood hand signs, and with Baby E leading the way, he was the first one to go down. The gunfire would alert 20-year-old Harrison Boonstopple, and while many began running, he told his friends to get down before telling everyone to get down. As the gunfire subsided, his two friends would get back up saying, "Harrison, let's go, but he couldn't get back up. A bullet had pierced his back, leaving him in critical condition and unable to move, and doctors at Tampa General would notify his parents there was nothing they could do to save his life. 15 others have been shot, with one other person suffering injuries while attempting to get away. Rel would claim self-defense to police, and with Florida being a stand your ground state, this case will be one that tests the morality of the law. Police claim Baby E never attempted to pull a weapon on video, but in the seconds Rel is reaching for his gun, Baby E can be seen doing the same. If Rel is able to prove he lawfully defended himself as he was in fear Baby E was going to pull a firearm, Rel technically couldn't be held responsible for the second murder and 15 attempted murders that followed. But Rel told the police it wasn't Baby E who he thought had a gun in his waistband, it was someone else. When asked again if he saw Baby E reach for his waistband, Rel again clarified that Baby E never did. These statements are going to play a crucial role in an upcoming trial because the prosecutors are going to use these statements to show Rel fired indiscriminately and at someone that he admitted never reached for a weapon and believed didn't have a weapon. But in all reality, Rel still has a fighting chance because Baby E can clearly be seen reaching and died with a stolen weapon on his waist. The fact that 22-year-old Rel just killed someone and set off a mass shooting is a valid excuse to not be able to exactly recall every detail, and if he's able to acquire the right lawyer, there's no telling where this case will go. But I guarantee you, this case will not go unpunished. The amount of pressure that's going to fall on the police and prosecutors to secure a conviction in a case where so many innocents were shot could result in the wrong person being punished. It's said law enforcement is still looking for 2 additional shooters, and it won't be until Harrison's autopsy when they're able to determine if Rel's 10mm Glock was the weapon that killed him, or if someone else fired the fatal shot. Rel could be seen wearing a turtle suit, also known as a suicide prevention skirt, as he was arraigned for the second-degree murder of Elijah Wilson. He was not charged with a stolen firearm, somewhat confirming the stolen weapon belonged to the so-called victim, and he has not been charged with shooting any of the additional victims. With many outraged that a 14-year-old child was killed, many others have taken the stance that Rel did in fact act in self-defense, and did in fact follow Florida law by standing his ground when in fear for his life. Rel himself was armed and being aggressively approached by a male the same size as him, so the victim's age is irrelevant. While Rel didn't know if the victim was armed, Rel was aware of his own firearm, And the fact that if things turned physical between them, the victim could have had the chance to disarm Rel and shoot him with his own gun, as we've seen in videos of police being physically attacked. So Rel drew his weapon at the same time. It appears on video the victim was attempting to draw his, and Rel fired. At this time, Tyrell Phillips faces a possible life sentence in Florida State Prison and the possibility of beating the entire case for standing his ground. Now this case is already controversial, and it's going to become so much more. You have a 14-year-old victim who shouldn't have been in the area and died with a stolen gun in his waist. In my opinion, he was clearly reaching for that gun when he was shot. I feel like Tyrell should beat this case on stand your ground. But the fact that 16 or 15 other people were shot, that can't go unpunished. Which means that if the state and the police aren't able to grab the 2 other shooters, they're gonna look horrible, which could result in Tyrell taking the rap for everything that happened. Tyrell had a 10mm Glock. This is a big fucking gun. It had 11 rounds in it when the police got it. 3 shell casings were found. That means he fired 3 shots, and 3 shots don't hit 16 people. So everyone knows that there's other shooters out there. They're gonna try to find these other shooters, and they most likely will. Now I would like to hear y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section on how y'all feel that this case should play out. The innocent victim that was killed in this case is obviously Harrison, and not the 14-year-old who was strapped and tried to run up on somebody throwing 4s up and then gets hit in the shit. I don't feel like that's an innocent victim. And I mean, the most clear-cut thing in my mind is if that was me that had the gun and I have a group aggressively coming towards me, I'm gonna have to pull it. And if I feel like he's pulling it, I'm gonna have to fire. And when they say, oh, why were you in fear for your life if he only had hands? The same reason that when police are physically attacked, they draw their gun and shoot. Because if you have the opportunity to grab that cop's gun in a physical fight, cop is gonna kill you to make sure you don't have that opportunity. If you're gonna take on carrying a firearm, you're not gonna let anybody get close enough to where they're able to, or possibly able to, grab that gun, disarm you, and use it against you. They can say that Tyrell is a drill rapper and he talks about killing, cool, but he ain't a felon. He acted lawfully in this situation. They can say that that kid was only 14 and whatever they want. That kid was in an area he shouldn't have been in. I don't know where the fuck the parents were at. I see the fathers on the news after the case. But if you can go on social media and see your kid throwing 4s up and carrying guns and he's in all these music videos, everything starts at home. I'm not gonna bash the parents, but that kid shouldn't have been there, and he shouldn't have been starting shit. Let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. Prayers out to Tampa and all the victims involved. I was actually just in Tampa on Thursday. This is crazy. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all rocking with me. Until next time.